Exposed, the sinister truth behind 2 million subscribers and the haunted secrets they hide. Jenna felt the familiar weight of exhaustion dragging down her shoulders as she rounded the corner of Maplewood Boulevard. The streetlights flickered, casting elongated shadows that danced ominously along the pavement. Each step sent a shiver down her spine, ignited by the sinister web of fear slowly tightening around their quiet suburb. Everyone knew about the Glove Man, an eerie online figure with a flourishing YouTube channel built on local legends that sent chills through the town's veins. 2 million subscribers tuned in for tales that ignited nightmares, but for Jenna, they ignited a different kind of fear. At home, Mia was glued to her phone, lost in the glowing realm of YouTube. Jenna's heart raced as she entered the dim-lit living room, a sense of dread wrapped around her like a damp blanket. "Mia?" she called, knowing she'd find her daughter glued to the screen, mesmerized. "Get ready for bed. You need to sleep." But Mia barely glanced up, her eyes reflecting the bright screen, captivated by the Glove Man's latest video titled, "The Haunting at Maplewood's Edge," where viewers were warned about local disappearances linked to the malevolent figure. Jenna sighed, dismissing the creeping anxiety as a mother's imagination running wild. Just another fad, she thought, shaking her head as she poured a cup of coffee. Yet, as the days slipped by, the unsettling changes in their neighborhood began to gnaw at her. Familiar faces turned cold, laughter among children ceased, and whispers filled the air, heavier than the autumn leaves that crunched beneath her feet. There were rumors a friend of Mia had vanished without a trace, and the tight-knit community was beginning to unravel. One sleepless night, Jenna's instincts propelled her into Mia's room. Her breath hitched when she spotted illuminated text on Mia's phone, a message from an unknown number, boldly claiming, "The Glove Man knows. You're next." Panic flared in her chest like a firecracker bursting in the stillness. "Mia? Who is this?" she demanded. Mia shrugged it off, undeterred, laughing it away. But Jenna couldn't shake the feeling. Darkness lurked in the edges of their lives. As she scoured her sleepy town the following day, Jenna's eyes darted over the streets. Every shadow, every rustle could signal danger. The neighbor, Mrs. Thompson, eyed her suspiciously, whispering to someone on the porch as Jenna walked by. Their gazes felt like daggers, and fear radiated through her like ice. What do they know? She wondered, unease spreading within her gut. That evening, she looked in on Mia, only to find her joining a live stream with the Glove Man, excitement bursting from her daughter as the digital figure spun a tale of terror. Suddenly, the connection wavered and cut off. Jenna's knees buckled. She felt a gut punch of terror. She raced for Mia's phone, her heart raced as the screen went dark, swallowing a link to her daughter. Before she could collect her thoughts, something in her pocket vibrated. Jenna gripped her phone, messages flooding in, each more sinister than the last, sowing seeds of dread. She braced herself, losing herself in the growing shadows of Maplewood. "Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. The penetrating silence of night descended. Jenna barely slept, prowling through the dark as dread encased her. She stepped out into the chilled air, furiously searching the hollowed grounds of their neighborhood. Each rustle echoed like a whisper. Was it the wind, or was it someone watching? The line between fiction and reality was fading, and she was desperate. A sudden creak from the shadows sent her spinning around, breath hitching. In that moment, she knew, the Glove Man was no myth, and the haunted secrets of Maplewood were more binding than she'd ever imagined. Just as a scream threatened to spill from her lips, her phone buzzed again with a twisted message, a video from the Glove Man, showcasing Mia, her daughter's wide eyes filled with terror, mouthing, "Help me," before the screen went black. The reality settled hard. Darkness might just take her family next. Jenna's heart raced in sync with the eerie silence surrounding her. The glow of her phone illuminated the darkness, revealing shadows that seemed to creep ever closer. "This can't be real," she muttered, pressing her trembling fingers to the screen. The video replayed in her mind Mia's terrified gaze, the desperation caught in her eyes. With every ounce of courage, Jenna dialed Mia's number, praying for an answer. The phone rang incessantly, but there was no response. Panic surged through her veins like ice water. What if she was too late? A noise shattered her thoughts, a low scraping sound coming from the direction of the backyard. She hesitated, inching toward the door, every instinct screaming at her to run. "Think, Jenna," she whispered to herself. The stories were growing vivid in her mind, the disappearances, the fear mounting in the neighborhood. The glove man thrived on this chaos. She couldn't let him win. She slipped outside, the cold air biting her skin, the fog rolling in thick like a suffocating shroud. The familiar backyard now felt foreign, tainted with the weight of impending dread. Jenna squinted into the darkness, her breath forming clouds of white as it escaped her lips. There it was again. A soft scraping this time followed by a faint giggle. Chills raced down her spine, and she froze. "Mia? Mia?" she called, her voice echoing into the stillness. No answer. The moonlight illuminated patches of the yard, but any shadow could hide a threat. Stay calm, she thought, forcing her shaky breaths. She approached the fence, peering over, wondering if perhaps Mia was hiding from her. Or worse, if someone had taken her. Then, without warning, a light flickered on in the house next door. Jenna's gaze snapped toward it, and her heart dropped. There was Mrs. Thompson, standing in her kitchen, her face illuminated by her phone's glow. It looked like she was watching something intently. Jenna's pulse quickened. Did she know something? Was she part of it? Just as Jenna turned to call out, a low growl interrupted her thoughts. She jerked back, eyes wide. The sound came from the shadows near the woodpile. Her breath caught in her throat, the instinct to flee battled with the urgency to find Mia. "Get a grip," she hissed at herself. A shape began to emerge from the darkness, a figure draped in tattered clothing, its face obscured by a mask resembling a grotesque glove. No. Not now. But it was too late. The figure stepped forward, moving with an unnatural fluidity that sent an electric shock of fear through Jenna. Her fight-or-flight instincts screamed for action. "Get away from me!" she shouted, her voice rising above the pounding of her heart. It was a futile call. The figure didn't respond but continued to advance with deliberate slowness. In a desperate lunge, she swerved around the figure, sprinting towards her home. Each step felt like running in quicksand as dread weighed her down. She raced through the door, slamming it shut behind her. Locked. Jenna's hands shook as she leaned against the door, gasping for air. There had to be a way to save Mia. She couldn't let darkness win. Gathering her fear into resolve, she turned to the living room, her eyes falling on Mia's laptop still open on the table. If the glove man had Mia, he might have tipped his hand in his latest video. But what if he was always watching? The thought sent a fresh wave of cold through her. She opened the browser and clicked on his channel, the screen pulsing with energy as it loaded. As the video played, Jenna's breath hitched at the title, The Purge of Maplewood. The night was just beginning, and it held promises of terror. Jenna couldn't shake the sinking feeling that amid the tales of horror he spun, there lay the key to finding her daughter. But as a shadow passed by the window, the screen flickered with static. She felt it, the unseen force tightening its grip. "What are you doing, Jenna? You shouldn't have looked for it." And then it clicked. The light in Mrs. Thompson's kitchen went out, plunging them back into darkness. A sense of dread enveloped her, and she felt a chill creeping ever closer. Mia's fate and the truth behind the veil of Maplewood awaited, and neither was far from harm's reach. But first, Jenna had to decipher the darkness before it consumed her whole. What hidden horror lurked in the glove man's words, and how much of it was designed to shatter her resolve? Jenna's mind raced as she stared at the flickering screen. The Purge of Maplewood. The title felt like a cold fist squeezing her chest. With each passing second, she could almost hear the taunts of the glove man echoing through her thoughts. Could this be the key to Mia's disappearance, or would it draw her deeper into danger? She clicked on the video, breathless. The moment it began to play, an unsettling rhythm of distorted laughter filled the air. It was a sound that crawled beneath her skin, igniting the worst fears she suppressed. The images flashed across the screen, a montage of frantic faces, shadows lurking just out of frame, a sequence of panic and despair. Jenna felt her stomach churn. This wasn't just entertainment, it was a hunter's feast. As she forced herself to absorb the content, the screen pulsed with gruesome clips. Each face twisted in terror felt like a reminder of her own helplessness. Was Mia one of these victims? Jenna's hands clutched the edge of the table as if it could ground her against the rising tide of dread. She had to take control, had to find Mia before it was too late. Suddenly, the video cut to static, distorting the image of the glove man looming larger than life, his mask twisted into a grotesque grin. "Welcome, Jenna," he whispered, the voice warped yet chillingly familiar. Her breath came in sharp gasps. "What do you want?" she yelled at the screen, half expecting a response. The unsettling grin remained, waiting in silence. And then, the door rattled. Jenna spun around, her heart pounding against her ribs. The sound was bizarrely rhythmic, like something trying to break in. A surge of terror shot through her. What if the glove man had sent someone? "Stop! Go away!" she shouted, gripping the nearest object, a heavy lamp, ready to defend herself against whatever horror awaited. The rattling continued, slowly morphing into a slow knock. It was a sickening sound, as if someone took pleasure in her fear. "Jenna," a voice called, but it wasn't the glove man. The quivering intonations carried a twisted familiarity. "Mia?" Jenna whispered, hope igniting momentarily before being snuffed out by doubt. Her heart leaped. Was Mia okay? Or was this a cruel trick? She dashed for the door, hands trembling on the knob. "Mia? Is that you? Please, let me in," the voice pleaded, low and echoing with desperation. "He's coming, Jenna. You have to let me in." Jenna hesitated, eyes darting to the window. The shadows seemed to dance, growing darker outside, coiling towards her. The glove man lurked in the periphery of her vision, invisible yet undeniably present. "No!" she yelled, realizing the trap. The door wasn't safe. Whatever stood behind it was not her daughter. It was a lure. The shadows outside deepened, sliding silently past the window. "Tell me where you are," Jenna insisted, fear clawing its way up her throat. "Mia can't come home," whispered another voice, distorted yet eerily similar. "She belongs to us now." The air felt electric, charged with a presence that sent shivers racing down Jenna's spine. She turned back to the laptop, the screen still buzzing with static. A notification popped up. The last video uploaded by the glove man must watch for survival. It pulsated. She felt the urge to click, but the sense of dread locked her feet in place. She could feel it. He was watching, waiting for her reaction. Jenna knew she had a choice: continue to unravel the nightmare woven into this digital world, or abandon hope and flee. Each option teetered precariously on the edge of her sanity. Suddenly, the room filled with a chaos of scratches, the unmistakable sound of claws against wood. The glove man's figure materialized outside, looming close, his presence amplifying each dread-filled moment. But this time, Jenna recognized something in her, a flicker of determination that hadn't been there before. "I want to let you take her," she yelled, adrenaline igniting her words into a battle cry. As she dashed toward the laptop, desperation and defiance lining her every step, she couldn't shake the looming question: could she expose the Glove Man's secret, or would she walk directly into the darkness he commanded? The clock was ticking, and the shadows were hungry for her next move. Jenna's fingers hesitated over the laptop keys, heart hammering like a wild drum in her chest. The flickering screen taunted her, the words "must watch for survival" pulsing as if alive. It felt like a countdown, a race against time. Every second prolonged the truth hidden in the darkness. She glanced back at the door, its wood trembling under the weight of something just beyond reach. The scratching had stopped, but a deeper silence filled the space, thick and suffocating. Whatever had been outside was now watching, waiting for her next move. Taking a breath, she forced her eyes back to the screen. With shaking hands, she clicked the video. The moment it started, she was unprepared for the onslaught of images. Faces she didn't recognize screaming, blood spraying like paint on canvas, and there he was again, the glove man, his eyes appearing to pierce right through her soul. The whispers filled the air, a cacophony of despair intertwining with that vile laughter. "You should ve listened, Jenna," he echoed, as grainy images shifted, morphing into scenes of horror too graphic to comprehend. Jenna felt bile rising in her throat. "Is Mia here?" She choked out between breaths, desperate for even the slightest hint that her daughter was still safe, still alive. She wasn't prepared for the answer she'd receive. The video changed. A static fizz enveloped the visuals, swirling into an image of a dimly lit basement. Jenna squinted, her blood running cold as the unmistakable sound of chains rattling echoed through the speaker. The air around her turned frigid, as if the very essence of fear enveloped her. "Mia!" She screamed, the word raw and desperate. But the image became clearer, and there it was, a worn-out chair, creaked under the strain of something heavy and chained. Shadows flitted in the corners of the screen, teasing the edges of the light. Muffled cries danced through the static. "Jenna, help me!" The voice was weak, strained, but it clawed at her heart. It was unmistakably Mia. Panic surged within her. "I'm coming, I'll find you," she shouted at the screen, as if her words could breach the gap between them. Suddenly, the screen exploded into static again, the dark undertones morphing into laughter, cruel, mocking, a mere illusion of hope. "You think you can save her?" The glove man rumbled, his sinister voice rolling through her bones like a wave of icy dread, but Jenna wasn't ready to give in. She remembered the last thing Mia had said before disappearing, the old story of a hidden door, a way out that only the brave would find. It felt like a message, a key to unlocking the precarious situation they were trapped in. "Maybe there's more to these videos," Jenna whispered to herself, determination rising. What if each clip held part of the puzzle? With newfound resolve, she began to sift through the video thumbnails, heart pounding with each click. The darkness seemed to yield as she opened a video titled "The Forgotten Ones." Jenna's breath caught. Would it reveal more about Mia? Each second trickled by. The door rattled again, but this time the sound morphed into angry bangs. "Jenna! Let me in!" It wasn't just a voice, it was a battening down against a growing chaos. Her insides twisted. "Get out!" she yelled, pulling a chair up against the door, blocking it as she fought against the surge of terror. The laptop screen glitched, and static buzzed angrily as the glove man's face filled the frame. "You should be careful what you wish for," he sneered, a chilling glint in his eye. Jenna's blood ran cold. Had she just unleashed something worse than she had imagined? A new noise crept into the room, a faint whisper, like promises woven in shadows. Jenna turned back to the screen, her heart racing. "What do you really want?" And before she could react, the image blurred again, a black and white figure reaching out, mouth moving, words forming that were drowned out by the hammering at the door. "What's happening?" she thought, dread sinking deeply into her bones. "It's time to choose," the whisper echoed chillily, wrapping around her like a vine tightening its grip. Jenna's mind raced. Was she finally close to discovering the glove man's true intentions, or had she just awakened a much darker reality, demanding a sacrifice? The pounding intensified, time slipping away, shadows invading her retreat. As the chaos erupted around her, Jenna realized she needed to act fast. One video remained. Would she dare click it? Something sinister lurked in the air. Her choice could plunge her deeper into hell or lead her straight to Mia. The clock was ticking. The shadows were insatiable. What would it take to save her daughter? Jenna's breath quickened as she hovered over the last video thumbnail. Its title glowed ominously, "The Last Hope." There was no going back. She clicked it, the screen flickered violently, and for a moment, everything went black. A chill spread through the room, pulling at her skin like icy fingers. When the video came to life, her heart dropped. It showed a flickering light bulb swinging lazily from a ceiling in a cramped, cluttered room. The shadows stretched out, casting grotesque shapes across the walls. "Welcome back." The glove man's voice slithered into her ears like a serpent. "Did you think you could escape?" The camera zoomed in on a tattered box in the corner, its surface covered in grime. Jenna leaned closer, squinting at the screen, her mind racing. Was this some kind of trap? "Look closer," he taunted, each word sharp like glass. The camera shifted, focusing on the box. Jenna felt a jolt of recognition. There was a faint scraping, a desperate heart beating just beneath the surface. "What are you hiding?" Jenna murmured, her voice barely a whisper. Then the video jumped. A grotesque montage of Mia flickered in and out, her face contorted in silence amidst chaos. The room twisted, morphing into a darker place, a basement filled with jagged metal and shadows that lurked, waiting, watching. Jenna's body tensed, fear wound tighter around her heart. Suddenly, a new sound pierced through the rattling of chains. Jenna gasped, her throat closing up. "Mia!" She screamed, but the video swirled, distorting her daughter's silhouette until it vanished altogether, replaced by the glove man's gleaming eye. "Do you see, Jenna?" he whispered, leaning closer, his face close enough to touch the screen. "This is what happens when you meddle with the truth." A deafening bang erupted from the door, rattling her bones. She spun around, every nerve in her body firing. "I want to let you take her," she shouted, her voice cracking even as adrenaline surged through her. As she returned her gaze to the laptop, the screen shifted again. "Your time is running out," he purred, and Jenna's heart raced in response. "Choose wisely." He gestured toward the box once more, shadows creeping into the edges of the screen. Without thinking, Jenna could feel the compulsion to reach for the box. Was this what Mia needed? What if it contained a way for both of them to escape? But as Jenna grasped the thought, panic clawed up her throat. What if opening it unleashed something worse? "Open it, and see what's inside," the glove man urged, the hunger in his voice as palpable as the shadows crawling along the walls. The banging at the door reverberated, more urgent now, as if whatever was outside sensed her hesitation. "Jenna! Please! I'm scared!" A voice cried out from the other side, and it made her stomach drop. With tremors shaking her hands, Jenna felt an intense pressure inside her, either defense or unraveling. She knew she had mere moments to act. "No, I can't let it take me. I can't put her in danger again." She glanced back at the harrowing images on the screen, and another tight squeeze of dread filled her chest. What if I'm too late? The thought struck deep. Could the box hold the very key to saving her, or would it seal her fate? "It's time to choose, Jenna," he repeated, the corner of his mouth curling in mockery. "Or should I take the choice from you?" As the pounding at the door morphed into a frenzied thumping, which seemed to shake the foundations around her, Jenna felt an overwhelming wave of desperation. She had to do something. She took a step toward the screen, her resolve solidifying into a single word on her lips, but would she dare to confront the looming dread? Would the box reveal the dark secrets it housed, or would it plunge her into a deeper nightmare? The glove man's laughter echoed, a sinister reminder of the choice she had to make. Moments ticked down, the tension building. What waited for her in the shadows? Jenna stared at the flickering screen, her heart hammering against her chest like a trapped bird. Time felt distorted, every second stretched and pulsed with terror. The glove man's chilling voice wrapped around her like a snake, tightening, suffocating. "Open it, Jenna," he urged, his eyes gleaming with a manic light. The shadows of the screen seemed to reach out toward her, eager to pull her further into the horrors contained within that tattered box. "No." The word escaped her lips, desperate, but her feet inched closer. The room behind her faded, the world outside the door no longer mattered. "I need to save Mia." She raised her trembling hands, hovering close to the screen, her fingers itching toward the cold surface of the box. Her mind raced. What if it held the key to her daughter's salvation? Panic twisted in her gut. What if it unleashed something far worse? Another deafening crash at the door jerked her back. "Mom. Please." Mia's voice cut through the chaos, raw and desperate. Jenna stumbled, feeling the weight of that plea like a physical blow. A moment of clarity struck her. This was a trick, a game that the glove man played to unearth her nightmares, a cruel test of her devotion. "Stop it. Leave her alone," she shouted, swinging around to face the door. Another bang, this time accompanied by a whisper almost too soft to catch. "Help me." The sound pierced through her like ice, a chilling reminder of how close she was to losing her baby. She clenched her fists, grounding herself in the suffocating fear. "Whatever's in the box, I want to open it. Then the truth will remain hidden." The glove man's voice was a sinister croon, dripping with malice. "But does the truth come with a price? Think carefully, Jenna. The clock is ticking." Jenna gritted her teeth, bracing against the onslaught of dread. Mia was counting on her not just to survive, but to break this nightmarish cycle. She couldn't fall into the same trap that had ensnared others. "You think you can control me? You're wrong." But those words felt weak against the rising tide of fear. The pounding at the door grew louder, frantic, relentless, as if whatever was there sensed her wavering resolve. She turned back to the screen. It pulsed like a living thing, the shadows writhing within the confines of their prison. "Open the box, and you'll discover the truth about Mia. Or remain blind, Jenna." Jenna shook her head, ready to refuse, when a series of frantic yanks rattled the doorknob. "Mom. I'm scared, please." Mia's cries hit as hard as the realization that time was slipping away. Jenna's mind spun. What was she willing to sacrifice to save Mia? "I can't let him win. I won T." She screamed, but uncertainty clouded her thoughts. The video flickered, images of Mia flashing in torment, her cries blending into the relentless thumping. The glove man's laughter danced around her. "So close, yet so far. You're standing against shadows, Jenna, and you don't even know what lurks behind them." Suddenly, the video jolted, the box on the screen pulsated with a haunting glow, urging her, taunting her. It creaked open ever so slightly. What would it reveal? Summoning courage, Jenna stepped back toward the screen. "Just tell me what you want." The words burst forth, an accidental admission. The room faded into a blur, the stakes sharper than she'd ever known. "Ah, craving answers?" he purred, leaning closer, almost touching the glass. "Very well, but not without a price. Will you pay it?" Everything hinged on that moment, every breath, every heartbeat. Jenna felt the ice in her veins. "What do you want?" At that moment, the door splintered under the force of another impact. The room shuddered. Jenna felt a pulse deep in her gut, followed by the creaking of the box, the sinister promise of dread just waiting to unfold. What would she uncover if she dared to look? As the door flew wide open and shadows rushed in, Jenna braced herself, knowing the truth was about to be revealed and so much could go wrong. Would she choose to face the box, or would she plunge into darkness? Just as the darkness swept across the room, engulfing her in fear, a voice broke through the chaos, "Mom, let me in." But what lay on the other side might change everything or seal their fate. The room exploded in chaos as the door burst open. The shadows poured in, swirling like a storm, suffocating Jenna in their icy embrace. She stumbled back, eyes fixed on the television screen that still glowed with an otherworldly light. The glove man's laughter echoed, a cruel symphony against the backdrop of Mia's desperate cries. "Mom, please." Mia's voice sliced through the air, raw and filled with fear. Jenna's heart broke, torn between the gleaming box and the pulsing figure standing at the threshold, her daughter trapped somewhere beyond the veil of darkness. "Mia!" she screamed, stepping away from the slithering shadows that threatened to overwhelm her. "Get out of here! Run!" But Mia stood there, lost between the encroaching darkness and the flickering light of the screen. "I can't. I'm scared." She looked more like a specter than her vibrant self, the very essence of fright palpable in her wide, terrified eyes. In that moment, the writhing shadows flickered, allowing Jenna a glimpse into the depths of the box on the screen. It shifted, transforming from an object of dread to something almost enticing. Jenna hesitated. Was this where Mia was trapped? Would unveiling the box secure her daughter's safety or unleash hell itself? A shove from behind brought her back to reality. The glove man stepped through the doorway, his expression twisted with glee. "You want her? You'll have to pay the price." "What do you want?" Jenna shouted, trying to contain the rising panic. "Just let her go." The glove man smiled, a sickening twist of his lips. "Oh, Jenna, you already know the price. You've danced with your fear, hid from the truth, but now it's time to face your own demons." His words hung in the air, thick and suffocating. The weight of his anticipation gnawed at her sanity. Jenna's mind raced. Could she actually confront whatever horror awaited her in that box? It felt like a gamble, but every second felt like an eternity, her daughter's life dangling by a thread. A surge of adrenaline rushed through her, igniting a fierce determination. "I'll do it," she declared, her voice steadier than she felt. "I'll open the box." The glove man clapped his gloved hands in mock applause, the sound echoing like thunder. "Now you're playing my game. But remember, Jenna." As Jenna stepped closer to the glowing screen, the world around her distorted. She felt a pull, a force urging her to open the box as the glove man's voice coiled around her, hypnotic and sinister. "The truth can't be unseen. Whatever you discover within, it will change everything." She took a deep breath, trembling with resolve. With trembling fingers, she reached out, the surface of the screen crackling with energy. The grips of darkness tightened around her, whispering promises of despair. "Open it, Jenna," his voice slithered. Just as she was about to touch the box, a void of silence enveloped the room. The shadows paused, and for one stolen moment, everything was still. Then, with a deafening clap, the box exploded open. A horrific scream pierced the silence, and from the depths of the box, a wretched figure emerged, a ghastly echo of her daughter, her face twisted in anguish. "Mom!" it wailed, a pitch that sent shivers racing up Jenna's spine. It wasn't Mia, yet it looked like her, wearing her face, her voice. A mirror reflecting Jenna's worst fears. "Choose wisely," the glove man hissed, watching with sadistic delight as Jenna took a step back, her breath coming in ragged gasps. "Will you choose the truth, even if it means losing her forever?" Jenna's heart raced, caught between love and terror, between the shadow and the light. She froze as another reality swept through her mind, realizing that every choice she made could cost her everything. What if the answer was within her grasp and yet, she was too afraid to take it? What awaited her in that abyss, and would it be the key or the end? "Mom!" The scream echoed again, and Jenna felt herself torn between the truth and the fear of what lay beyond. Darkness surged, closing in, as the line between reality and nightmare blurred into one horrifying question: could she still save Mia, or was it already too late? The moment the wretched figure emerged from the box, Jenna felt her heart drop. This twisted doppelganger was everything she dreaded. Every flicker of light and shadow played across its malicious grin. It was not Mia. The eyes, devilish yet familiar, bore into her soul with an understanding that chilled her to the bone. "Mom, help me!" The figure called, but the voice dripped with malice, transforming love into a dagger of doubt, piercing Jenna's resolve. "What have you done to her?" Jenna shouted, struggling to draw herself back from the abyss. The glove man merely chuckled behind her, the sound gloating, reverberating off the walls like an ominous thunder. "Isn't it beautiful?" he crooned, taking a step closer, reveling in Jenna's horror. "A perfect reflection of your despair. She's close, isn't she? Just beyond this veil." "No!" Jenna screamed, shaking her head as if she could will the nightmare away. She craved the real Mia, the vibrant girl with laughter that could light up any room. But this creature before her, lurking with its dreadful eyes, was a parody of her daughter. A manifestation of her fears. "Choose, Jenna." The glove man urged dramatically, his voice lowering conspiratorially. "What will it be? The truth, or the twisted comfort of lies?" The shadows encircling her body felt alive, slithering and pulsating, as if they were made of her own anxieties. Her breath quickened. Could she dare to know the truth? Or would seeking it doom her daughter? "Mom, please!" The figure screeched, shifting closer, features contorting in agony, transforming into fleeting snapshots of Mia. Jenna felt the corners of her sanity fraying. "Stop!" she begged, tears spilling down her cheeks. "Just let her go. Whatever you want, I'll do it." The glove man grinned, delighting in her torment. "Oh, Jenna, it's already too late for bargains. The darkness doesn't function that way. You have already played the first round." Desperately, Jenna looked from the doppelganger to the glove man and back. A sickening realization dawned: she was ensnared within this sinister game, bound by threads of terror and manipulation. Any misstep could lead to losing Mia irrevocably. "What does it mean?" she stammered, her resolve trembling. "What will happen if I choose wisely or poorly?" The glove man placed a gloved finger against his chin, feigning thoughtfulness. "Ah, but that's the thrill, isn't it? The dance of fate. With every choice, the stakes rise." He leaned in closer, his breath foul and chilling on Jenna's skin. "You may gain knowledge, or you may lose everything. Ever wonder about your past?" "What do you mean?" Jenna demanded, feeling the air thicken with dread. "The truth is often buried underneath regrets." His voice was syrupy, like poison dripped into her ears. "What horrors did you hide from your daughter? Do you think she doesn't know?" As the shadows crept closer, Jenna's memories flashed before her, secrets long buried, choices that haunted her, every time she had hidden the truth from Mia. The darkness was alive, feeding off her guilt, and she felt it shift and writhe against her consciousness. "Mia!" she cried, desperation spilling over as she reached out to the figure that resembled her daughter. The terror of revealing the truth clawed at her throat like a choking vine. "Choose, Jenna!" the glove man demanded, laughter bubbling like a grotesque melody, enticing and sinister, and in that moment of excruciating clarity, Jenna realized the depths of the trap around her. The lines between salvation and damnation twisted cruelly before her, leaving her gasping for air. With her heart pounding like a war drum, she stepped towards the twisted figure, ready to embrace the unbearable weight of the truth. What awaited her beyond that decision? Would unveiling the hidden demons destroy her chance to save Mia or bind them together in eternal darkness? All she knew was the shadows danced hungry around her, urging her closer to the precipice. Jenna's feet felt like lead as she stepped towards the twisted doppelganger, the shadows tightening their grip like a vice around her shaking limbs. The creature smiled hideously, every inch of it crafted from her fears and regrets. The glove man's laughter echoed, a sinister serenade that gnawed at her resolve. "Mom," the figure croaked, altering its voice dramatically to mimic Mia's familiar lilt. Why won't you just help me? You love me, don't you? She shivered, the chill penetrating her bones. Mia, tears streamed down her face, despair clawing at her heart. Could she trust this monster? But fear held her suspended, caught between longing and dread. Choose, Jenna. The glove man's voice slithered through the air, vibrating with excitement. Do you dare to embrace the truth? Or would you rather remain shackled by sweet lies? The shadows pulsed, twisting toward her like hungry serpents. Images of her past danced in her mind, the moments of denial, the times she thought silence was safer than truth. Each thought brought a shard of ice into her heart. Would digging into the past tear her apart or set her free? And Mom? Help me, the doppelganger cried again, teeth gleaming with malice, an eerie echo of her pleas. As she stepped closer, Jenna's stomach twisted with nausea. This being might know her deepest secrets. I cannot choose you, she shouted, frustration spilling over like a boiling pot. You're not her. You're a lie. Suddenly, the figure wailed, contorting into something horrific, its skin dripping shadows that splashed against the floor. Then let me die, it screeched, and for a harrowing moment, it resembled Mia before twisting back into that grotesque form. Jenna staggered back, gasping for breath as the glove man's laughter grew louder, more unhinged. Doesn't truth seem unbearable? He taunted. Are you ready to face everything you've hidden? All the things that lead to this moment? Jenna's thoughts were chaotic, flaring with violent images of her daughter's laughter, her eager smile, blotched by darkness. Could revealing these secrets shatter their bond forever? You think you know what it takes to save her? You're only prolonging the inevitable. The glove man stepped closer, his gloved hands reaching out, writhing forward like hungry tendrils. Stop. Jenna backed away, desperation running through her. You don't control me. But her mind spun like a whirlpool, chaos pulling her deeper. Please, the doppelganger whimpered, shifting again, almost resembling her daughter. But the sinister undertone lingered, a threat echoing beneath the facade. Mom, I can't breathe. The air was thick with despair, cloaked in shadows that threatened to smother her hopes. Her heart raced, the drumbeats fueling the rising dread inside her chest. Choose, Jenna. Choose. The glove man's voice crescendoed, a demonic conductor orchestrating her terror. What will you risk to save Mia? Jenna swallowed hard. Could she unleash the buried truth for the chance to reclaim her daughter? She extended her hand hesitantly towards the doppelganger, sweat trickling down her back as she felt the shadows ripple against her skin. Just as her fingertips brushed against the monster, a deafening cry shattered the air, freezing her in place. Behind her, the box vibrated violently, knocking dust from the rafters. Jenna turned slowly, dread snaking through her veins. What was happening now? Don't look away from your sins, the glove man screamed, rage twisting his features into a grotesque snarl. You're tethered to more than just her. The air thickened, smothering her breaths as she stared into the whirling chaos. A pulse of darkness surged from the box, dread and foreboding wrapped around her like a shroud. Jenna needed to act. But could she confront the tide of her past and the true source of this terror? Each second felt like eternity, a noose tightening around her heart. Choices lay heavy on her shoulders, and the shadows soared higher. What lurked beyond the box? What other secrets awaited her in the rising storm of despair? The darkness beckoned, but Jenna could not ignore the icy fingers of fate wrapping around her throat. Jenna stood at the crossroads of terror and salvation, paralyzed by the oppressive weight of her past. The doppelganger writhed before her, a twisting embodiment of her innermost fears. You can't hide from her, it taunted, voice dripping with malice. She knows your secrets. They're buried deep, and it's time to resurface. You're a monster, Jenna shouted, shaking her head violently as tears streamed down her cheeks. The glove man's laughter drowned her out, a triumphant roar that rattled the walls. Time slipped away, the stakes unraveling beneath the force of darkness swirling around her. "Mom," the chilling voice cried again, blending innocence with a sinister undertone, igniting a war inside her chest. "If you won't help me, I'll be lost forever." The tension clamped down, leaving her gasping for air. Jessie faced the truth, a reality she had avoided in her attempts to shield Mia. She had robbed her daughter of understanding, believing that silence kept her safe. But now, that very silence threatened to consume them both. Jenna took a deep breath, her fingers curling into fists. "I won't let you win," she screamed, the words tearing from her throat. The darkness loomed, ready to pounce, but she felt the stirrings of determination wrap around her heart. Maybe the truth could ignite the light to chase away these shadows. Enough. Jenna thrust her hands towards the doppelganger, a surge of fierce bravery coursing through her veins. "I won't give in to fear. Whatever forces lurk inside you won't break me." Her voice echoed, defiant and raw, reverberating against the oppressive silence filling the room. The glove man stepped forward, fury etched onto his features. "You think this is defiance? You haven't seen anything yet." With one last desperate move, Jenna lunged toward the box on the screen, the monstrous entity holding Mia's face flickering in and out of focus behind her, threatening to drag her into the void. "The truth is part of me," she declared. "I won't shy away from it anymore." As her fingers curled around the rim of the box displayed on the screen, an explosion of light filled the room. The shadows recoiled from her touch, shrieking in anguish. The glove man faltered, momentarily stunned. In that flash of brilliance, Jenna made a choice. She would confront her fears, the memories that haunted her, pulling free any remnants of shame bound beneath layers of silence. The box split open, and a rush of cold air swept through the room. Images erupted from its depths, memories of laughter, tears, moments of vulnerability, the fragments she had tried so carefully to hide. Each scene played out, Mia laughing as she splashed in puddles, the warmth of shared secrets, and the day Jenna had abandoned her dreams in pursuit of safety. "Mom, please." The doppelganger's voice twisted, spinning through her heart like a knife. But Jenna was ready. She turned this tide of despair into a lifeline, to pull her daughter back to safety. "I remember," Jenna declared, her voice unwavering. "I remember every moment of joy, every moment of pain. Mia deserves to know. I won't bury the truth anymore." The figure shook violently, the shadows around it thrashing in agony. "You shouldn't have done that," it screamed, transforming into a wraith-like apparition that flailed and twisted. The glove man screamed in rage. It echoed off the walls, yet reverberated with a bitterness that hinted at his own desperation. "The darkness is yours. You cannot escape it." But as Jenna held her ground, she felt a shift, a power emanating from her choices. The shadows started to peel away, retreating in defeat as she embraced the light within those buried truths. "Your hold on me is broken," she shouted. "You rely on fear and lies. I choose love. I choose truth." With an ear-splitting roar, the darkness shattered around her, sending the glove man stumbling into the void. The figure vanished, and the box collapsed, releasing a brilliant cascade of light. "Mia!" Jenna shouted, the air crisp with newfound freedom. The light pulsed and swirled, merging into the silhouette of her real daughter, glowing, radiant. Moments later, the warmth of Mia wrapped around her like a comforting blanket. "Mom! You found me." "Yes, my baby." Jenna cradled her, eyes wide with joy and disbelief. "I thought I'd lost you forever." "Don't let the darkness win again," Mia whispered, brushing away tears as they stepped together into the light. Together, they watched as the remnants of shadows shrank and dissolved, the pulse of fear finally giving way to hope. The room filled with warmth, the air clearing of the heaviness that had once suffocated them. As they left the nightmare behind, Jennifer took Mia's hand tightly, feeling the bond between them strong and timeless. "It's never too late to choose the truth, Mia," she said, her voice steady and full of love. "Always, Mom," Mia replied, and they moved forward, leaving the horrors of Maplewood behind them. The remnants of the glove man faded into whispers of the past, clearing a path for new beginnings. Thanks to newfound resolve, Jenna understood now truth could be a light in dark places, even if it came with pain. Together, they would face whatever else awaited, united in strength and love. Now, as you walk with them into their fresh start, remember you need to subscribe now to catch the next chapter in their journey. Smash that like button to show your support and keep our stories alive. Flood that comment section with your reactions and theories. What do you think about Jenna and Mia's victory? And Don T. Wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this empowering conclusion. Let us spread the hope together. You're a part of this journey every step of the way.